On this week's podcast, we get to speak with Matt Wilson from Silverback Advertising, and he's going to teach us all about what OTT actually is and what that means. And he's really invested in the automotive marketing industry. He's had 7 years as kind of on both sides of the fence, really. He was a marketing director for a group of 9 Nissan stores and currently the account director now at Silverback Advertising. So he's really had both sides of the fence as a client and now a vendor. And so now he's going to share with us all about the things that people need to think about on digital sides, and not just for automotive, but for all of us out there that are going through this marketing journey. And I love to talk to other people who work in agencies just as we do, to learn from them just as much as they can learn from us. So enjoy the journey as we take a listen and understand and uncover what it means to have OTT and connected TV and podcasting and all of the things. And he's also a podcast host himself. So let's take a listen to Matt Wilson.
Welcome to Peppershock Media's Marketing Expedition podcast, keeping you up to date with the latest in marketing and advertising. Now here's your host, Ray Allen.
Welcome to the Marketing Expedition podcast. I'm your host, Ray Allen, and today I have Matt Wilson with me, and we're going to do a little pod swap, right, Matt?
Yes, we're pod swapping. It's 2 podcasts in one.
That's right. And so tell my audience what podcast you have, and I'll tell yours, mine.
Yes. Okay. So for your audience, my podcast is mostly automotive marketing with Matt Wilson, and we talk about automotive marketing mostly. There you go. That's the synopsis.
The mostly. I love that part. And ours is the Marketing Expedition podcast, and we mostly talk about marketing.
All right.
We're in good company for sure. But let me start off and then you can come back to me. But I first of all just wanted to ask and share a little bit about your story, who you are, what you do, and what makes your world go round.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. So my name is Matt, obviously, and I'm the account director at Silverback Advertising. And we are a primarily automotive focused advertising agency. A big part of our business, kind of our differentiating factor, is our OTT connected TV platform that we developed in-house, that we work with our dealers directly on, as well as white label and work with other agencies who want to have a similar service, but either don't want to use a big box vendor or deal with the infrastructure in-house. They will use us. And then, so I've been here for 2 years. Prior to that, I come from the tier 3 automotive side. I was the marketing director at a group of Nissan stores for 7 years, which is how I got into automotive. And then prior to that, I spent 15 years in radio, which is where I got the idea to, I thought, it'd be fun to do a podcast about what I'm doing now, kind of combining radio and automotive marketing. And it seemed like a natural thing to do. So
Excellent.
that's what makes it happen. That's what makes the world go round. Selling cars, OTT, working from home, in the office / playroom / laundry room / cat room, doing what all of us are doing, trying to make it work.
Right. Working from home. I know I am here at home too. And the kids are finally back in school part-time now, which is great. I'm loving that.
Yeah.
But my dog is here. So if you hear her bark, that's why.
I feel like any excuse, like people like on pitches or dealer recap calls people will be like, oh, my dog is there, or my kid bus is coming. I feel like no one needs to give any excuses or disclaimers. We
Not
get
anymore.
it. The internet's slow. The kids are outside. The lawn's being mowed. Like everybody's allowed that now in 2021.
We all get a free pass. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So
100%.
just so our audiences know, explain what OTT is. Obviously I know, but I want you to share kind of like a basic overview of what this is.
So OTT stands for over the top. And it's a very all-encompassing word that refers to any kind of television that is delivered outside of the old school coax cable wire that comes from the wall, the black wire with the little antenna thing in it. Yeah. So OTT is all encompassing, any other television outside of that. But when you boil it down, it's, it comes down to CTV, which is connected TV, which is how most of us, or not most of us, but a lot of people watch television now. So, like right above me in my office is a smart TV that has, Roku, Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, Amazon, YouTube. It's a connected TV. I've watched TV through this television, but I don't have cable. And I have three of those in my house. So an OTT platform or connected TV platform delivers ads through and there's a million connected TV channels and programmatic ways to deliver inventory, delivers television commercials essentially through all those streaming platforms.
Good synopsis of what that is. And each of those different platforms, and each of them kind of have a different market that you're wanting to attract, or different programs that you can play, that you can put the ads on. And so your team has developed the tool to do that, correct?
Yeah, we've developed because there's the programmatic connected TV OTT landscape is like the Wild West, right? There's no you buy TV, you buy TV a certain way, right? And you use ratings points and GRPs and media buyers have a specific set of skills, and this is the industry standard. Programmatic is all over the place, right? Because you're buying inventory from multiple places in different ways, and all these platforms use different naming conventions and different bidding methods. And so we developed an in-house platform that we're able to not only buy inventory through a lot of the exchanges that are out there, but also strike some of our own private inventory deals where we can pass advertising through before it's available to the masses. And we took it all and tried to make it as simple as possible for the either agency that is using us or for a dealership that we're using. Because what do they know? Well, they want to know, where's my spot going to run? And you could say, and it's not like it is with television, where you could be like, oh, well, you're going to be on the Discovery Channel on Sunday afternoons, because it's not how you buy it. That's not how programmatic OTT is bought, right? Mm-hmm. You're really buying the audience, not the program. And it's really irrelevant what the person's watching, right? It doesn't matter if I'm watching the Food Network at 1 o'clock in the morning or The Bachelor on Hulu on Monday night, which I don't watch, by the way, but as an example, or if I'm watching the Mets game on SNY on a Sunday afternoon. What matters is that I'm the person that the advertiser is trying to reach. Mm-hmm. So it's really data driven. You're buying TV, you're buying the program, hoping the person you want to reach is watching that program. Oh, I think guys watch golf, so we're going to be on golf. Well, we're finding that guy that you want regardless of where he is.
Right. And so it's based on downloads and how many times something's watched, right? And that's kind of how for some different programs or some different channels, I guess you call them platforms, channels. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Tell me how that works.
Yeah. So, as an example, we will say to somebody, okay, your budget is X dollar amount and and I'll just use automotive as an example, but you want people who are likely to purchase an Alfa Romeo, whether they're in market for an Alfa Romeo or a competitor, or maybe they have a car that the next natural upgrade is an Alfa Romeo. We will target those people across all the different connected TV platforms. So if I'm in market for an Alfa Romeo and I'm watching, like as an example, this happened, I'm watching SNL through my Hulu device on my smart TV, I may see an ad for Alfa Romeo. But if you're next door and you're watching the same thing and you're not in the market for an Alfa Romeo, you're not going to get the Alfa Romeo commercial because that's a waste of an impression. Mm-hmm. But if you're people watch TV, there's, it's a very fragmented landscape right now. There's Hulu and there's Sling and there's YouTube and there's a million different places, right? So if you're watching Sling, you're watching Hulu, you're watching Roku, you're watching TV through the CBS All Access app, or you're watching it through the Food Channel website. There's a million ways to buy that ad through programmatic, and we kind of simplify it. And we named our platform Data Fusion Marketing, and we let Data Fusion buy it and find the person regardless of what they're watching. Although, we do have a lot of things in place to make sure that, your content's not running in, unsavory places on the internet or next to any user-generated content. Is important. Brand safety is important. for sure.
Oh, that's great. And I love that you've put it all together so that people can use this tool and agencies can use this tool as a platform that, we can then take and resell as an agency. And really, that's kind of how we met. You found us on LinkedIn, and then you attended our marketing expedition meetup and shared some knowledge with us. And you got to be there when our whole team was available.
Yeah, that was cool.
During our powwow. Yeah.
You guys were all in like a ski lodge, or you were somewhere that was very, I don't know, I can't remember where you were, but everyone was sitting down at the table. That was cool.
Yeah, we rented this really cool place called Underhill Garden, and it was, during pandemic, so we had to be spread out, of course, and masks on, and doing our team building thing. But we always schedule this every third Friday, and it was like, rain or shine, and this will be a fun for us to do for everybody. And so you popped on, and we do this, on an ongoing basis, and people come on and tell us a little bit about them and what they offer and what they do, and we vice versa. We do the same, and it's kind of a fun way to meet up and get together. And I was telling somebody the other day, I do this now because oftentimes I will get hit up all the time. Let's go, coffee, or, it used to be coffee, cocktails, or conference calls, or whatever. Now it's just conference calls. But if I were to say yes to everyone that wanted to meet with me, like, all I would be doing is drinking coffee, or,
be all jacked up on caffeine. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And so like, let's get to know you and meet up for coffee. I'm like, okay, I'm going to condense it all, and everyone gets to meet everyone that wants to meet me all at the same time, which I love. And so now we've been doing this big thing every third Friday. You should come again. I will do it again.
Yeah. I think it's cool. Yeah. I like it. I think that's, I mean, you missed the in-person stuff, but I also like that kind of, because if we weren't in this like time we're in now, and you invited me to that thing on a Friday, I'd be like, I don't have time for that. But like, that's the only way to talk to people now. And I liked it. It was like hanging out with your agency people. Yeah. And I just think it's kind of cool. And there's been a lot of that stuff. I think it's a good idea. But I think also that kind of thing will continue. I think so too. I mean, because
you're on another part of the country, right?
I'm in Connecticut.
And I'm in Idaho. So, I mean,
well, we're never going to meet in person likely. So,
right. But now we can, hey, I know somebody in Connecticut, or,
exactly.
And, it's a great way, I think, to do some business development, to do some connections and networking and learning like what it is that people are doing, and, kind of the latest trends that are happening. So I encourage it. And people said like, well, aren't you worried about like competitors? And I'm really not. I'm not worried about that, because there's something that maybe we do that you don't, or that there's something you obviously do that we don't. So I think it's just like being able to connect with other people that have a similar industry and, kind of a like-minded mentality of what it is that we're doing, because we're going on a marketing journey. That's what this is, a marketing expedition, right? We're going on it together. Anyway, so there you go.
And the people who talk about that too, like with the competition, like there's plenty of business to go around. Like there's a million agencies, there's a million businesses, like it is what it is. And it's all relationship based. And, I don't, because people talk about that too. Like, oh, if you're talking about, all the, all your data fusion secrets on your podcast. And I'm like, listen, anybody can develop their own, OTT platform, but it's how you go about doing it, what your goal is of it. If you have the infrastructure in place, what your process is. And we just developed a combination that works really well for us. And, that's just what we decided to do. I mean, we're not the only people doing it. Cars.com is out there trying to sell OTT to dealers. Right. There's, they're buying it from someone else, but, I don't look at it as like, oh, well, I'm not going to tell somebody how that secret sauce works. There's a million agencies. There's a million businesses. There's plenty of business to go around. And I think all of us talking to each other only makes us all stronger.
Yeah, and it does, because then you can, leverage the knowledge that other people have and utilize that to your advantage. And for you, because you're reselling what you do, I mean, it's helpful for you to reach out and do that. And you have kind of a unique position. You've been like on the client side and now on the agency side. Let's talk a little bit about that, because I can only imagine how many times the conversation have come up, well, this is probably something that the auto dealers wouldn't like because here's why. And I've experienced this before. Share a little bit how this is an advantage to you.
That was my first sort of responsibility at Silverback Advertising was, they're all auto guys, right? But the president of the company was tier 2 Acura, 15 years ago, and the managing partner was tier 1 Hyundai, 6 years ago, and when I started, I was tier 3 Nissan yesterday. So, and I was the guy who got the pitches and the phone calls. I could have spent all my time listening to pitches or meeting with people when I was the marketing director of the group, because vendors would follow me around from store to store. Oh, we hear he's at this store on Thursdays. Let's call him at that store. Oh, are you here? No, I'm not here. Oh, well, he's at that store on Wednesdays. Let's show up there. I mean, so I was very, very sensitive to being pitched. So I think, so from that standpoint, I was sensitive about how I would reach out to people, knowing how I liked to be or not be contacted. Right. And then just, from a standpoint of a dealer standpoint, like you said, I had the most recent in that chair experience, and we would be going over things and I'd be like, yeah, that's great, but a dealer's not going to care. Or, okay, that's cool, but here's how I would say that to me if it was me.
Yeah, if you were in those shoes, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that it gave me, and still does probably, even though it's been 2 years, it gives me a unique perspective on, how to size up a dealer early on too. I was, my dealer group was in the Northeast. So, and there was a lot of dealers in the like New Jersey, Long Island area that were part of the group. And that's not the most forgiving area of the country, right? It's tough dealers. They want results right away. Well, I know how to talk to those people because those were the people that I worked with at my last job. That being said, then I got dealers in the South right now who are like the nicest people in the world. They're still demanding attribution and results. We all want results for our money, what we're spending. But I feel like I'm saying, okay, this is this type of dealer, and this is what they're going to want. And let's talk to them in this way going forward. And I think that's just a product of what I did before this. But I also think that from the other side, it has the negative effect also. Because I'm like, oh man, like anytime somebody made this phone call to me when I was a dealer, I'd be like, are you serious right now? Like, dude. So I think it also has a negative effect where I might be, because, it's almost like karma. Like I wish I was nicer when I was a dealer, because I want people to be nice to me. Right. And I wasn't like a jerk, but I was really busy. I had a lot of stores and the phone rang all the time. And I could not possibly answer every phone call and get back to everyone. It was impossible. Yep, but I wish I did a better job at it now, because I feel like it would be coming back to me in the universe.
I absolutely relate to the person trying to get a hold of the marketing director at a dealership and trying to do that because of, whatever events we're wanting sponsorships for, or, could you, whatever it is that you're after, and, pitching to do the work with them. Right. And, and very busy because they're bouncing around. Like you said, you were at one dealership and then another, and then you were, so it's like, I can somewhat maybe admittedly relate to the paparazzi following, just because I need to get an answer on something.
Yeah. Where's Matt? Just do tomorrow. He's got to approve it.
Put a GPS tracker so we can track them down. I mean,
yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, I'm just home crying because everybody wants something from me.
Right. I mean, I do remember one of my dealers that I used to work with a long time ago. Like, he would religiously take a smoke break at a specific time. And so I knew this. And so if I wanted to talk to him for just a brief minute, I would be there during that time frame, knowing that that's where he would be. And I don't know if he caught on after a while because he knew that this is the thing,
I like that. That's clever. But clever.
It's like, hey, if I can talk to him, I'm going to talk to him, and that's what I need to do. And I can't capture him, But it's I mean, we used to do some dealer work and did commercials and did some video work, and in fact that's one of the commercials we did was an Emmy award-winning commercial, and it wasn't your typical car commercial.
Congratulations.
I'm super proud of. It was awesome for our team to do that. But but working with the dealers, and it was a group of different competitors all coming together for an auto mall area.
Oh, I got you, like a kind of a a marketing collective, or kind of, I forget what they call it, what it's called.
Yep. So it was like the whole auto mall area. And so I had 5 different dealers with 5 different opinions of 5 different ways to do things, right?
Yeah, of course. That's a staple of dealer life. We all have opinions. It's a very opinionated group.
Yes.
What's funny is, like, I love dealers. I love auto marketing. It's a blast. I've been doing it for, 9 years. The podcast is fun, but the OTT platform and the pandemic has allowed me to deal with agencies or some direct clients outside of automotive, which has also been fun because I didn't plan on it, and we didn't plan on it when we built it. But like, I have an agency as a client, and all their clients are tourism. And they're using the platform. So I've gotten to learn about another industry that I didn't really know a lot about. Tourism industry is cool. Retail, HVAC. We have a church client through an agency that, has been using the OTT platform. And for me, like as a guy who's been in automotive, it's pretty cool. Like I'm finding it, I've been learning a lot over the last year outside of automotive and how different businesses are run and how the pandemic has affected different businesses in different parts of the country has been pretty cool. And I've really enjoyed, meeting, people, owners and businesses outside of automotive. But it is when you're in your comfort zone, like you're talking automotive with the dealer, and I'm like, all right, this is the language that I have been speaking for a while. But I have enjoyed the learning other industries has been kind of cool. And it's just one of the other cool things the pandemic has kind of brought into our lives is something outside of your comfort zone, maybe.
Well, and expanding into the other areas who need what you do, I think that is definitely a good play to grow and kind of find other categories of businesses that are doing well, that are, maybe essential. Like you mentioned HVAC, right? I mean, they're essentials and you can't go without them, right? Or plumbers or any of those. Yeah.
I mean, up here in the Northeast, we had, I think it was last year, maybe it wasn't a hurricane. We had no power for 6 days, like our whole neighborhood. Wow. And since then, 3 people in my neighborhood have bought those, their Generac, like a whole house generator. It's like $10,000 between like buying and install and everything. You get a new propane tank installed. I mean, what a huge business affected by the weather that is like recession pandemic proof. Doesn't matter what's going on in the pandemic, but you don't want to be without power in the Northeast for 5 days. It's hot in the summer and it's cold in the winter. And those types of companies are hiring, like home improvement and recreation, bicycles and ATVs and boats and pools and home improvement and Lowe's and HVAC. All those places are like through the roof right now.
Yeah.
So why not, as an agency, try and be involved in those verticals? It only makes sense. It's only a smart move,
Yeah, absolutely. Because they're the ones that are going to be spending the money and, recruiting and getting people to work with them and also, clientele that they want. And so definitely a good way to go about, okay, who is essential, who needs to stay open, who needs to, who's spending money on marketing right now, it's true. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we've seen with tourism, in respect to tourism, obviously, the huge impact with, not having beds and heads, right? Or heads and beds, I should say.
Yep.
And not getting people to go, and like ticketed events are no longer right now. And so there's been a big impact in that. And then also like virtual events have grown because we can't do the regular events, right? And so what's the next best thing? The virtual events. And starting to see a trend to do some hybrid events too, where people will be on Zoom, but then also in person up to the restricted limit that you can, right? And who knows when that limit will be lifted. But I'm starting to see that. But I really think, like you said, virtual events are here to stay. I think people will continue to do them. And the world has just opened up and been more accepting of being on camera and meeting this way. And then the next thing that, kind of came out of this too is Clubhouse. Have you heard or have been on Clubhouse yet, Matt?
I have. I just recorded an episode of my podcast with Ilana Shabte from Auto Lead Star. And we talked about Clubhouse. And I have my opinions on Clubhouse.
Right.
But that's been a huge, talk about timing and the rollout too. And the crazy, like exclusive, you got to get an invite, rollout, I think was cool.
Yeah.
And so the question is, like, is that here to stay? Do you what do you see happening with Clubhouse in the next 12 months?
I am seeing it growing for at least the time being. And I don't know, I like it. It's been good to me to be a part of it. And, the best thing is it's all audio. So you don't even have to worry about, you can just wear pajama pants and it's no big deal,
Well, I've been wearing pajama pants for a year and a half now.
Yeah. My pandemic pants, that's,
Yeah, pandemic pants. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I like it. It's been great to meet people that I, again, otherwise would not have ever met or been on stage, if you will, because you get called up to be on stage. And I've gotten to share some stages with some pretty cool people. Like Guy Kawasaki was he's the chief chief inspiration officer for Canva, I guess it is.
Oh, wow. I love Canva.
Yeah, he's written lots of books and just done a lot of things. And so, I got to be on stage with him and kind of,
That's cool.
be there while he was doing he was moderating his club. And we just kind of bantered back and forth for quite a while. And I didn't get booted off stage. So
you guys are doing something right.
Yeah. And then,
that's cool. That's an opportunity that where else would you have had that opportunity? Like where in the real world would you have had a chance to just chat with that guy? Probably not, right? I mean,
really, yeah. How could I have,
Yeah, that's really cool.
But so that's been fun, and the cool thing too is now I presented as a topic. I get to speak every year at NAB, National Association of Broadcasters, and in the post-production world conference that's a part of NAB. And, generally I'm going to Vegas for it, or I was going to go to NAB New York, but, obviously pandemic created.
Right.
Not happening. But anyway, so we're going to do a virtual event, and they wanted me to speak all about Clubhouse and how to, build your brand through Clubhouse. I'm like, all right, I guess I better figure out what this thing is so that I can
become a Clubhouse expert. Right.
Yeah. Yep. So that's going to be a part of that conference. And I usually speak on, personal branding or, because a lot of creatives will attend and post-production people will be a part of it. So I usually try to address that audience. And so now that it's out there that I'm going to do this, I've been messaged can you send me an invite?
Yeah, that's the thing with Clubhouse, the invite.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. As soon as I get more, because you have to earn them as you go, right? And so I just created a list for people. Add your name to my list, and I will invite you when I can.
I'll get to you when I can. Yeah, I had to. My Clubhouse thing was I had to. I don't have an iPhone, right? I'm a Android, Samsung Note.
Oh.
So, but it was like the peer pressure to be involved in Clubhouse was overwhelming, especially
fear of missing out, right? FOMO.
So I borrowed an old iPhone from my mom, right? Kind of be like, hey, mom, do you have an old? Because do you have an old iPhone I could borrow? Yes, honey, I think I do. She puts her glasses on, rummages through her desk, finds me like an tiny old iPhone. I don't know how to use it. I've never had an iPhone in my life. The only Apple product I have is my laptop. My company laptop is a MacBook. So that's the only thing I know how to use in the Apple universe. I don't have iPhones. I don't have iPads. So I get the phone and I got to figure out how to use it first of all. Then I got to figure out how to download the Clubhouse app. Then I got to figure out how to use that. So I did one. It was like 2 hours, and I spoke. And there were some guys on it who were, industry bigwigs in automotive who I probably would never have talked to, but whose names I know through the industry.
Right.
Got to talk, and I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
But I haven't gone on since, because every time I go to do it, I'm like, wait, how do I find out when there's ones going on that I want to be a part of? Or I've gone on one and listened for 20 minutes and been like, I can't I can't do two things at once. So I can't be working on something and paying attention to what the discussion is. Right. I'm not in the car anymore, so I can't do it in the car.
Yeah,
so
it's not really happening as much anymore. Yeah.
So I just haven't spent that much time on it, but there are a lot of cool rooms that have popped up in different industries, and I do kind of like the idea. But I've seen people who are like, oh man, I was on these great Clubhouses all night last night. I'm like, who are these people with all this free time to be on Clubhouse?
And it can definitely suck up time when you don't realize that you've been on it for a couple hours. It's just crazy.
Yeah. There's this one guy who's like, I do one every weekday morning from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Like, first of all, I don't do anything before 9:15. So I'm thanks for the invite, but I'm not coming. But like, who has that kind of time? I think it's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
But I do think it's cool.
I do one every Wednesday, and I usually keep it to an hour because otherwise it could go forever because we're talking about marketing and people that are joining, asking questions, and
what time is it?
And that kind of. So it's generally in the afternoon, Idaho time. So I want to say I've done a couple different times. I think I'm going to stick to like 4:35 Mountain Standard Time. And the reason why 35 is because everyone pings on the hour at the hour. And so I decided to do it at a different time.
Oh, that's pretty smart.
Yeah. And so 4:35 Mountain Standard Time. And I'll just drop a link so that you guys can, add to the list if you want to be notified. And we'll send you an email. I promise I won't spam you, but it's clubhouse.marketingexpedition.club. So you can do
what time is that in Eastern time?
Oh, okay, so that would be so 4:35, so it would be 6:35.
Carry the 1
p.m. Yep.
6:30. Got it. Okay.
So there were 2 hours difference, right? So
yes.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah, yep. So we decided to go get a whole bunch of, instead of .coms, .clubs as domain names,
I like that.
Yeah, because now you can do that, and it made it popular. So yeah, clubhouse.marketingexpedition.club. So just keep
I like that
the .club part.
Peppershock is clever. I like it.
Peppershock came from my maiden name being Peppersack. And when you grow up with my full name is Rhea and Peppersack when I, before I got married. And so Peppersack.com was available in 2003 because that's what you did. You found a .com that was available, right?
Right. Yep.
Back when they were still available. So Peppersack.com was not available. One of my relatives had it already. So Peppershock.com. And so, yeah, Peppershock Media is what we landed on. And then, of course, I got married and my last name changed to Allen. So I still needed something creative in my name.
Yeah, I like it. There's lots of, obviously I spend a lot of time, looking at agencies and and there's a lot of ridiculous agency names out there, but there's a lot of cool agency names out there. And I think Peppershock is a good name. And plus you guys have bold colors and the logo. There's so much of it goes into the logo. There's so many, it's almost like e-commerce, you go to a place that sells appliances and they all have the same, it's automotive, and places that sell appliances all have the same, website templates. Well, agencies are the same thing. There's 10 different agency website templates, right? But you guys have a website that kind of stands out, good colors. I like the homepage. I just think the whole branding vibe, Peppershock is pretty cool. Maybe it's the Idaho thing. People are in cool parts of the country. They have cool, branding and coloring and everything. And then if you're in there's 8 billion agencies in New York and we all have the same website. I
know, right? And that's the fun thing. And we did go through a rebrand. We originally had a red pepper as part of our logo. And when we moved to our new location, I was like, I need something fresh and just new. And so of course, what is fresh and new and vibrant? Well, it's orange. And so now everything is orange and I love it.
I like it. And it comes in handy around Halloween. You don't have to, all your branding is right on point for Halloween.
Right.
Add some black and you're good to go.
Have our big Shocktoberfest every year in October. Well, this last year for the pandemic was a little interesting. We had to do it on Zoom, but so Shocktoberfest is our month because Peppershock started in October of 2003. And so Shocktoberfest is our annual client appreciation, staff appreciation, community appreciation, business, party really is what it is. And we just have people come and they dress up like Halloween, costumes. It's just a fun, a party for people who support us and that we want to support and love on. So it's fun to have that. And I'm really looking forward to when we can actually, have people come over again and do that.
Yeah. I feel like that you guys put a really important premium on company culture.
Absolutely. It is. I always say that your branding starts from the inside out and your culture is your brand, right? And so it's definitely important to us. And I'll tell you, when I first started the company, I did not pay attention to it as much. I mean, culture is going to happen regardless if you do it or not. And so I, it sort of changed over the years as to why I wanted to be so in tune with our culture, and hiring the right fit for people who fit within our culture, and you know, that can be a part of what we do, and in our family, right? It's we work with our people, and sometimes, you know, BC, before COVID, we would spend more time with our people at work than we would, you know, at home with our you know, spouses or whatever. So, and for me, my spouse works with me, so but Drew and I started the company, but it's definitely has to be a good fit for us. And I do think that not just our employees, but our clients too need to kind of fit within our molds of who we can serve and how we can serve them, and how they, you know, how we can work with them together too. So yeah, no, it's definitely, and I do culture and brand camp. And so I invite people to come and we work on culture and branding together. And I invite speakers, and, you know, sometimes there's HR professionals, sometimes there's other marketing people, and, you know, like strength finders and things that you can do to help build your team for employer and employee branding together. So definitely a big part of it. And I can't wait for us to do culture and brand camp again in person. We had to do it on Zoom last time, and it's just not the same.
No.
You can't have a campfire and, you know, have a, you know, a fireside chat when it's on Zoom.
Yep. Someday soon, I think it'll be cool.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Someday soon.
Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah. So tell me what's going on, and kind of what's happening in your world. Are you guys still going to continue to work from home, or are you, do you know yet?
Yeah, I don't think we know yet, but I think, you know, we're seeing, right, you're seeing more and more companies offer, deciding that they're not going to go back to the office full time, right? I know Twitter is going to be offering, you know, thousands and thousands of people to work from home forever. I believe I read that Google is doing something similar. I have a buddy who works at a hedge fund, and they, you know, keep pushing the date back 3 months. Oh, it's going to be 3 months. Oh, it's going to be the end of the year. And they basically came out and said, like, you know what, we don't know. We're going to be in this. We're going to do it this way till further notice. We have I'll say but we've had some people who have said, you know what, can I go back to where I am from? Can I live in a different city? Can I work remote? And we've said, yes, that's fine. For a couple of reasons. One, we were kind of already inherently, like, we had people, like, we're built to be remote because there's a bunch of us who are already remote. Like, I'm remote full time. Our account services and our account services team is in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and our digital team is in New Orleans. I'm in Connecticut, and the president the president of the company is in Charlotte. He doesn't even work at the office. You know, he's not even at our home office. Our managing partner is in Seattle, and our digital director is in Charlotte. So we're already all over the place. You know, it's been a culture shock for the core group of people who all work together in Baton Rouge, but now they've all been remote, and they rotate. You know, we're rotating in and out now. You know, they're in the office this week and they're home, so we don't want them all like on top of each other. But I don't know. I mean, the productivity, the business has been going great. So do we need, like, why can't people live in the part of the country they want to live in? Do we need to pay for a building? You know, what kind of infrastructure can we save on? So I don't know. I mean, I think early on it was like, yeah, we're going to all be doing this for now, and then we're going to all go back. But I think it's a lot more up in the air now. What about you guys? Like, what's the plan?
Yeah, I mean, so Peppershock has a few moms and, you know, parents. And so they've been working from home pretty much this whole entire time, unless there's like a shoot or video shoot or something that we need to be at or do. But it's been, you know, we've done that. We had already let our staff work from home at least once a week. You know, yeah, exactly. Like once a week we had, you know, a flex day, they could work from home. Just usually not Mondays, because that was like our big, you know, day that we all kind of had a staff meeting and got the week prepared. But now it's like everybody just, you know, gets on Zoom. We do daily huddles now. And I don't do a long, you know, 1 hour meeting anymore. I just do 15-minute huddles every day. And that, you know, kind of helps, because otherwise people like getting, you know, anxious sitting there forever. I got stuff to do, you know? So that's been working pretty well. And then we do have our video editor who does go to the office because he's got a big beefy video system.
Yeah, right.
And if there is a studio recording or, gear and things that he needs to, take and go and do. And then my husband's back and forth. He mostly works from the office too. Our designers really, they can come and go as they need. And if we've got a client meeting, then we'll meet with them with masks on and do that. But we're actually going to sublease. I hired a property manager to sublease some of our office space because we're just not using it. So why pay for this? And we have the studio in back, so I don't want to move or anything because we still do that. But we, Drew moved into my office and I just share it with him when I'm there, and I'm usually not working from home. So, and then we have another back office that we cleared it out and we're going to sublease it. So we'll see. We're supposed to meet with some people to see if they want the office space. Cause I do think that there are people who do want to get out of the house. Maybe they've got kids, or maybe, they're just kind of tired of being at the house, so they want that community of people around. So I don't know. It'll be an interesting shift to see what people decide to do, if they want to continue to work from home or not. And, one of my employees has to commute, and it's an hour away for this person. Right. And so, hour both ways, it's like 2 hours of that person's day. So, I imagine that she'll probably want to keep working from home, I think.
Yeah. I mean, if I had the opportunity, I would go in, I would do hybrid, for me, I love working from home. For some reasons, but some reasons I don't. Some reasons it's like to just get out of the house and get to work. And but that being said, some of my store, I had a store, my home store was 40 minutes away. So that's not close, but every day. And then, a lot of times I'd be driving farther away to stores farther away. I don't miss that.
Right.
But, if my company had an office 15 minutes from me, and they were like, oh, it's up to you, I would go in 2 or 3 days a week, and then I'd work from home 2 or 3 days a week.
Right.
Because there's advantages and disadvantages to both. But I mean, you and I are lucky. I mean, you can do it how you want to do it. It's your company, but you're treating, I think you're making, your employees are lucky because there's a lot of it's not like that everywhere. I mean, I used to work in radio, and my boss there at the time, his thing would be like, oh, he would hear work from home and he would think person's at home napping in their underwear. Right. But that's what you get from a micromanager or somebody who's not a great leader. Just because someone's working from home, the prevail back then was like working from home equals not working. And it's like, well, then either you're not hiring the right people or you're not the right person to be the manager of these people.
Right.
So I consider myself lucky, and your people lucky, because it's not like that. It's not like that everywhere. And there's a lot of industries and a lot of companies where it's not, you're on, but you got to make sure you're logged into this program at 8:45 every morning, and you got to be available for a 1 o'clock call every day, and you got to be at your computer at 5:01 every day, and then you can quit at 5:05. I mean, I would jump out the window if that was the type of culture that I was in. And a lot of people aren't as lucky as we are.
Well, the flexibility I think is key too, because if they are with their kids at home, or they need to go pick them up from school, or, they can have that flex time to do what they need. And sometimes, my staff will take time off during the afternoons and then maybe make up for it on a Saturday morning, or, at night after the kids go to sleep, kind of thing. And, it used to be that I was like, oh no, just leave it. Don't do that. Don't work odd hours, or, don't do that. But now it's like, because of that flexibility, they have the ability to do that. Yeah. So as long as stuff gets done, I don't really care how and when they get it done. It just needs to get done. Right. And show up when you need to.
And that's part of good culture. I mean, I get up at 6 sometimes, but sometimes I'll get up at 6 and I'll work from like 6 to 7:15 till the kids wake up. And because I know I'm going to be, when the kids get up, it's like, breakfast and get dressed, and they got to bring one to the bus stop, and when you got to drive one to school. And by the time I get home, it's 9:15, 9:30. And now I got the phone ringing and I got things to do. But you know what? I got all this stuff done between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. And I got some breathing room. So my days, exactly. That's just I'm a morning person. That's a productive time for me. And if I wasn't in the position working at the company I work for now, it really wouldn't work out as much. They don't expect me to be up at 6 working, but I expect me to be up at 6 working so I can get all my work done and not be stressed out all day dealing with phone calls and whatnot. And that's, I'm happy for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think we should probably wrap this up a little bit. Don't you think there, Matt?
I think so, but I've enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah,
I love talking to other marketers always a good discussion. I always think there's something that could be learned from it, and that hopefully other marketers also find it interesting and can take away something from it as well.
Absolutely.
Sure.
So tell people how they can reach you or get a hold of you, and I'll do the same.
Yeah, you can find me on just find me on LinkedIn, I guess, right? Yeah, go to LinkedIn. Just search Matt Wilson. I mean, I guess there's more than one. I don't really have a good way for people to find me. Is there more than one Matt Wilson on LinkedIn? Let's see.
I don't know. Matt with 2 T's.
Yeah, there's a bunch. Matt with 2 T's. But yeah, find me on LinkedIn. The podcast is mostly automotive marketing with Matt Wilson, and the agency is Silverback Advertising. So, Google those things. Find me on LinkedIn. Feel like you're going to be way more organized than how people can find you. So on the best way for people to find you.
Well, that and to subscribe to the podcast too. So you can go to themarketingexpedition.com/podcast, and they'll all be there. Yours will be there once we get it all edited and put together.
Cool.
Or peppershock.com. And then you can go there and click on the contact us and get that from there as well. And I always offer, a 15-minute consultation if people want to do a discovery or get to know you calls, and then invite them all to the Marketing Expedition meetup every third Friday at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, which would be noon your time, which is good timing, I think, on a Friday afternoon. So
yes, for sure.
So that's kind of the fun of it. I guess to register for that, you can go to peppershock.com/events, and all the different events that we do are posted there, webinars and all kinds of fun things. So peppershock.com/events. Yeah. Happy to help where I can. And if there's things that we can do to partner together, love to collaborate. And I'm going to get you on Clubhouse. We're going to moderate a room together. Okay, Matt? That's your challenge.
All right, fine. I'll do it. I will figure out how to get this phone on the Wi-Fi in my house. I don't really know how to find Wi-Fi on an iPhone, but I'll take a lesson from somebody.
Okay. You got this. YouTube it. You can look at YouTube.
I can do it. I could figure it out. I'm confident.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you so much, Matt. And
thanks,
for
Ray.
Those of the people listening, don't forget to subscribe to both podcasts.
Yes.
And reviews are always wonderful, for both of us, I'm sure. So make sure you give us some love that way. And until next time, enjoy the journey.
Thanks for listening, everybody. I appreciate it, Ray.
Excellent.
Thanks for listening to the Marketing Expedition podcast. Find more online at peppershock.com. Wouldn't it be great if there was one place you can go to get all the latest information and tips about marketing and advertising? The Marketing Expedition community is that place. People like you gather in our online community to build relationships with others and find the latest marketing trends, tactics, tools, and technology. We help you build your brand and your bottom line. Start your adventure today. Visit themarketingexpedition.com to find out more.